The idea that inflation is transitory, to me, is that one just doesn't work the way I see the world. So I look at $88 trillion of assets under management by asset managers. Of that, $670 billion are invested in commodity indices like Bloomberg Commodity Index, Goldman Sachs Commodity Index. That's about 0.75%. If I rewind just to 2011, when inflation was peaking at 3%, not CPI at 4.9, those same investors had 1.2% of their assets, which would imply today, if they just got back to weight, another $400 billion of buying in commodity indices. And if you, certainly the impact models that we run would argue that GSEI or BCOM would double or triple. So you've got, if I just look at where asset managers are, 60-40 types, the one thing that they should be invested in, they're not invested in, probably because they're hearing these assurances that inflation's transitory. So you've got this massive short, really, in the commodity complex, a massive short there. So that makes me think that, and I look at the balances in a variety of commodities, and they're all so razor thin. They're all so razor thin. And this is just what happens if institutional money would get to where they should be, given the level of real rates. What happens if the Reddit crowd ever gets into commodities? God forbid if the bullies, the financial markets, ever were to take it on, for instance, like retail did back in the 70s.
Explain what you mean by that.
What I mean is that commodities are finite supply, small markets, generally speaking. And if we ever get an inflationary psychology, like, for instance, we did when I was in my 20s, back in the 70s, if we ever get that again, and if you ever got retail actually nervous about inflation, then the one thing that leads inflation, which is commodity prices, it's the easiest tautology there is, those things can literally scream double or triple with no problem whatsoever.